Welcome to my channel. This is Real Talk Podcast, where we dive into honest conversations, real stories, and practical English learning tips. Let's get started.
Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're getting straight into something really core to English storytelling.
Right. How to use those past tenses effectively.
Exactly. We've looked at various guides, videos, notes, all aimed at English learners, really.
And our mission, let's say, is to unpack how these tenses, work together, how they create stories that really grab you and are easy to follow.
Yeah, because think about it. Have you ever felt a bit lost listening to a story in English? Like, wait, what happened first?
Or what was just background noise, sort of?
Totally. And getting these tenses right is often the key. It's not just grammar points. It's about sounding confident, sounding clear.
Becoming a better storyteller, basically? Making your English flow naturally?
So if you've ever paused, wondering, should I say I walked or I was walking? Well, this deep dive is definitely for you.
We're aiming to break down what looks complex into something, well, more intuitive.
With examples, lots of practical examples.
And the main players we're focusing on are the narrative tenses.
Past simple, past continuous.
The past perfect and past perfect continuous. Those four.
Okay, let's jump in. One source had this great analogy. Think of tenses like a GPS for your story.
Oh, I like that. A GPS.
Yeah, they guide the listener through the timeline. Use them right, and it's a clear path.
Get them wrong, and your listener might just get lost. The narrative stalls.
Exactly. So the GPS needs to be working properly.
Right. So starting point, past simple, the foundation.
Yeah, definitely the foundation. The past simple is really the workhorse. It's for actions that started and finished in the past.
Completed actions. Done.
It gives you the main sequence, the timeline of your story. Event A happened, then event B, then event C.
These are the plot points moving the story forward.
For sure. Like the examples we saw. Yesterday, I walked to the park. Simple. I saw a dog. Done. We played fetch. Finished.
Or just, she closed the door, they ate dinner. Straightforward, finished actions.
They give you the core facts of what went down.
And grammar-wise, the basics are adding ed for regular verbs, right? Play becomes played.
Yep. But then you have the irregulars. Go becomes went. Eat becomes ate. Those need a bit of memorizing.
Ah, yes, the irregulars. Always fun.
Yeah. But the main idea is completed action. Let's just try saying a few, like the source suggested. Just echo me. I walked.
I walked.
She closed.
She closed.
They ate. They ate. Feels pretty basic, right?
It is, but essential. Now, to add some color, some background, we bring in the past continuous.
Okay, the past continuous. How does that fit into our storytelling GPS?
Well, this one's about actions that were in progress at a specific time in the past. It's like painting the scenes.
Setting the stage, showing what was going on around the main event.
Exactly. It adds atmosphere, context, makes it more immersive.
It gives you a snapshot of a moment, doesn't it? Not just it happened, but it was happening.
Perfect way to put it. Examples like, yesterday I was walking to the park when it started to rain. See, was walking. Sets the ongoing scene.
Ah, okay. And the rain starting is the interruption. Precisely. Or, I was hiding under a tree when I saw a dog. Hiding was in progress.
She was cooking dinner when the phone rang. Cooking was the background activity.
And the structure is always was or were, plus the verb with ing. Was walking, were cooking, etc.
That ing signals the continuity in the past.
And a neat little pronunciation tip from one video sometimes, I was, can sound like I wash in fast speech.
Oh, yeah, that happens. Good point.
Just a little thing for natural flow. Let's try saying these. Repeat after me. I was walking.
I was walking.
She was cooking.
She was cooking. You can feel the ongoing action there.
Definitely. Now, this is where it gets really interesting combining them. Past simple and past continuous together.
Right, the interaction between the background and the main event. How does that usually play out?
Well, typically the past continuous sets up that background scene, the ongoing activity.
Like the was walking or was cooking.
Exactly. And then, bam, the past simple comes in with a shorter, often sudden action that interrupts it.
So ongoing scene, then something happens, that creates the drama, the movement.
Totally. The example used everywhere is perfect. Last night I was watching Netflix.
Okay, background scene set.
When the lights went out.
Ah, the interruption.
Yeah.
Past simple. Makes sense.
So, recap. Past continuous background ongoing. Past simple, interruption, shorter action.
Got it. That clarifies the relationship.
Let's try that quick practice from the notes. Fill in the gaps. She drive home when her car breakdown?
Okay, so ongoing action first. She was driving home
Yep.
when her car broke down. Past simple interruption.
Nailed it. Let's say the whole thing together. She was driving home when her car broke down.
She was driving home when her car broke down.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can really hear how they work together there.
Cool. Okay, moving on. Time to go further back with the past perfect. The time machine tense?
The past perfect. So this is about events before the main past timeline.
Exactly. It's used specifically to show which of two past events happened first, when you need to clarify the sequence because it's not obvious from the main story flow.
So it adds that layer of prior action or backstory. Crucial for context.
Absolutely crucial. Without it, things can get confusing fast. Examples help. By the time I reached the park, that's past simple, the rain had already started.
So the rain started before you reached the park.
Precisely. The past perfect, had started, clarifies the earlier event. Another, I'd eaten breakfast before I left for work.
Eating happened first, then leaving.
Right. Or they had finished the project by 5 p.m. The finishing was before 5 p.m. in the past.
And the grammar is had plus the past participle, right? Like eaten, finished, started.
Yes, that had plus past participle is the signal.
And the key point stressed in the sources is you generally use it when you're comparing two past events.
Yes. Just saying I had eaten breakfast on its own can sound a bit odd, out of context.
Yeah, the listener's thinking, okay, had eaten breakfast before what?
Right. It needs that other past reference point. I had eaten breakfast before I left. Now it makes perfect sense.
Establishes the timeline clearly.
Let's try saying a couple. Repeat. I had eaten.
I had eaten.
They'd finished.
They had finished. Feels like something else is coming, doesn't it?
It does. It points back. Okay, one more layer. The past perfect continuous.
Ooh, getting specific now. Past perfect continuous. What does the continuous add here?
This one combines the earlier past idea of the past perfect with the ongoing action idea of the continuous. It shows how long something had been happening up until another point in the past.
So not just that it happened earlier, but the duration leading up to the later past event.
Exactly. And our sources really emphasize that it often highlights duration, sometimes with a feeling of effort or waiting or even frustration.
Adds emotional texture, perhaps.
I think so, yeah. Like this example. When the dog finally stopped barking, I realized I'd been holding my breath for minutes.
Okay. Had been holding emphasizes how long that tension lasted before the dog stopped.
Perfect. Or, I had been working for 3 hours when the power went out. Focus on the 3 hours of effort before the interruption.
Right. Not just I worked, but I had been working. Shows the investment of time.
And she'd been waiting at the station for an hour before the train arrived. Really stresses the long wait.
Gotcha. Grammar-wise, it's had been plus the ing verb.
Yep. Had been working, had been waiting.
Emphasizes that continuous duration before the other past point.
Let's try these. Repeat. I had been working.
I had been working.
She had been waiting.
She had been waiting. You can almost feel the time passing.
You really can. Okay, the big challenge now. Putting it all together in a story.
Right. The ultimate test. Let's see how they weave together.
We've got that hiking story prompt from the materials. Let's try filling it in. Last weekend, I decided to go hiking. When I reached the mountain.
Okay, simple action. Reached. Past simple.
Another event in sequence. Started. Past simple again. I hid under a tree. Sequence continues. Hid. Past simple. While lightning across the sky.
Background atmosphere while hiding was flashing. Past continuous.
Suddenly I heard a noise. A bear. Now this is interesting. The noise wasn't just appearing, but had likely been there.
So implying it had been present leading up to hearing it, maybe past perfect continuous, it had been a bear, although it was a bear, past simple, also works contextually just to state the fact at that moment, the source said.
The source used had been, suggesting the bear's presence was the ongoing noise source before realization. Makes it more ominous.
Okay, let's go with had been, adds that prior element.
I run as fast as I could.
Action. Ran.
Agatsable.
Until I find a cabin.
Another completed action. Found. Past simple.
By the time I got inside, I did not know whether to laugh or cry.
State at that past moment, didn't know. Past simple.
Wow. Okay, so the answers line up. Reached, started, hid, was flashing, had been, ran, found, didn't know. Quite a mix.
It really shows how you need different tenses for different parts of the narrative sequence, background, prior events. And the source strongly suggested saying the whole story out loud. Good practice for flow. Want to try it?
Sure, let's give it a go.
Okay. Last weekend, I decided to go hiking. When I reached the mountain, it started to rain. I hid under a tree while lightning was flashing across the sky. Suddenly, I heard a noise. It had been a bear. I ran as fast as I could until I found a cabin. By the time I got inside, I didn't know whether to laugh or cry.
Saying it aloud really helps connect the dots, doesn't it? You feel the rhythm.
It really does. Builds that fluency.
Okay, so let's wrap this up. We've covered the main narrative tenses.
Yep. Past simple for the basic timeline, the core events.
Past continuous for the background, setting the scene, ongoing actions.
Past perfect for showing what happened earlier than the main past story.
And past perfect continuous for emphasizing the duration of an activity before another past event.
And hopefully, you listening now feel a bit clearer on how these tools help you tell really engaging stories.
Make your English sound more natural, more confident when you're recounting things.
We should also quickly mention those common slip-ups the sources pointed out.
Good idea, like
Yeah.
mixing past and present. I was walking and suddenly I realized.
Yeah, that's a big one.
Yeah.
Should be, I was walking and suddenly I realized, keep it consistent.
And overusing the past perfect, maybe? Just saying, I had eaten breakfast without explaining before what.
Right. It needs that context. I'd eaten breakfast before I left.
And just basic form errors like I had eat instead of I had eaten.
Those participles, gotta learn them.
They're important, so
on.
pay attention to those common mistakes.
So the big takeaway, think of these tenses as your story's GPS. Master them, and you guide your listener clearly.
Keep practicing, especially saying stories out loud. It really helps cement the patterns.
Definitely. All right, one final thought to leave you with.
Go on.
Think about a simple story you told someone recently, just a basic anecdote. How could you maybe use these different past tenses, continuous, perfect, perfect continuous, to make it a bit richer, more vivid?
How would adding that background detail or clarifying the sequence change how the listener experienced it?
Exactly. Something to think about next time you're sharing a memory.
Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and join us next time on Real Talk Podcast.